What if flowers hold a kind of wisdom that science is only now beginning to confirm? For centuries, people have turned to plants for healing. We've used herbs, teas, and oils for their physical benefits, but there's another way that flowers work. Not through chemistry, but through energy. Today we're diving into the world of flower essences, what they are, how they work, and why even scientists are beginning to explore the principles behind them. Flower essences were first found to be used by the ancient Egyptians who captured the dew of plants to support emotional imbalances. Later on, scientists and healers in Europe began capturing the dew of plants for the same purposes. Later on, flower essences were introduced to the modern world in the 1930s. Dr. Edward Bach, a British physician, produced them. He believed that illness often begins in our emotions. If we can heal the emotional roots, the body has a better chance to heal too. Unlike essential oils or herbal tinctures, flower essences don't rely on chemicals. They're made by floating blossoms in pure water, usually in sunlight. That water is then preserved with a little brandy. What remains is the energetic imprint of the flower. It's subtle, it's vibrational, and it's safe for everyone. So how does a flower essence actually work? Think of resonance. Just as one tuning fork can cause another to vibrate, a flower essence resonates with our emotional state. Here's where water memory comes in. Some researchers, like Jacques Benveniste, explored the idea that water can hold an imprint of what it has been exposed to. Masaru Emoto became famous for showing that water crystals form differently depending on words, music, or even intention. While debated, these experiments suggest that water is more than just a neutral liquid. It may actually carry memory, which is exactly what allows flower essences to hold the vibration of a flower. For example, wild rose can lift apathy. Mimulus helps with specific fears, like fear of speaking in public. Essences don't force change. They act more like a mirror. They reflect where we're out of balance. And they gently help us restore harmony. Science is beginning to catch up. For years, researchers dismissed flower essences. Why? Because they couldn't measure them like drugs or herbs. But new fields are changing the conversation. Quantum biology shows that cells communicate through energy, not just chemicals. Epigenetics proves that our emotional environment can turn genes on and off. Psychoneuroimmunology shows how stress and emotions affect the immune system. The HeartMath Institute has done groundbreaking work here. They've studied the heart's electromagnetic field, which can be measured several feet outside the body. They've shown that emotions like gratitude and compassion create measurable harmony in our heart rhythms. That harmony influences our health, our mood, even how we connect with others. When you put this together, water's ability to hold memory, the body's response to vibration, and the heart's role as an energetic regulator, it becomes easier to understand how flower essences might have such profound yet gentle effects. This shift opens the door. It creates space for therapies like flower essences to be taken seriously. So how can you use flower essences? They're incredible for emotional support, for grief, fear, anxiety, stressful transitions. They're wonderful for personal growth, to support self-love, intuition, or grounding. And they're practical for everyday life, confidence at work, relationship harmony, easing travel stress. They even help pets and plants. A nervous rescue dog might calm down with Mimulus. A garden can bounce back faster from transplant shock, and of course the most famous blend is Rescue Remedy. People use it during exams, in emergencies, even on long flights. It doesn't sedate you. It simply restores calm. Let's go deeper into a few popular essences. Rescue Remedy, a blend for crisis and overwhelm. Mimulus, for known fears. Walnut, for transitions and protection from outside influence. Star of Bethlehem, for grief and trauma. And Wild Rose, for apathy and lack of motivation. Each essence carries its own story, its own gift. And when we work with them, we borrow a bit of the flower's strength. Now let's clear up some myths. First, flower essences are not essential oils. They don't contain fragrance or chemical compounds. Second, some say they're just placebo. But here's the thing. Placebo itself is evidence of the mind-body connection. It shows that intention and belief can change biology. Flower essences may be subtle, but subtle does not mean ineffective. And here's the truth. They're safe, no side effects, no risk of addiction, safe for babies, safe for pets, safe alongside other treatments. If you'd like, let's try a quick practice together. If you have an essence bottle nearby, hold it in your hand. If not, simply close your eyes and imagine a flower you feel drawn to. Take a breath, notice what sensations or feelings come up. Maybe a memory, maybe a shift in mood. That's how flower essences work, subtle, gentle, yet real. So what does the future look like for flower essences? More therapists and holistic clinics are already using them. Researchers are beginning to test subtle energy therapies in controlled settings. And with wearable technology, like devices that measure stress or heart rhythms, we may soon have data that shows what many already feel, that essences create measurable calm and balance. We are just beginning to understand how vibration, resonance, and emotion shape health. And flower essences are part of that story. So here's the takeaway. Flower essences remind us that healing doesn't always require force. Sometimes the most powerful shifts are gentle. Science is beginning to embrace what flowers have whispered all along, that health and harmony are about energy as much as chemistry. If you've tried flower essences, share your story in the comments. If you're curious, experiment with one essence for a week. Journal what you notice. And if you'd like more deep dives into plant wisdom, be sure to subscribe and join me for the next video, because sometimes the smallest drop of flower essence can reveal the biggest truth. Healing can be natural, gentle, and profoundly transformative.